Hi everyone, I am Dr.T.SUMATHI, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology. Today we have to discuss about the very interesting topic, ABO blood grouping and X-linked inheritance diseases. So many diseases occurs, we have to know about the X-linked inheritance diseases. First we have to discuss about ABO blood grouping. Why we have to know about the blood grouping and the blood? Blood is important fluid in our body. It gives energy and all over the body. It control all the activities. Our food materials also converted the blood after it gives the energy. The blood is a fluid. It is a connective tissue and most crucially important of the circulatory system. Not only circulatory system and all over the body from head to tail, tail also, all the part important for the circulatory systems. In healthy person, approximately have the 5 liters of the blood content in the body. In case the person have not a 5 liters, the person is affected the disease, it is called anemia. Normally, the blood also important, different from male to female. Female also have the healthy female also has the 4.5 liters is enough. In case we affected the anemia, in taking of the food material, after we have to satisfy the blood in our body. First, the blood grouping identified by the scientist Carl Landsteiner, the Austrian scientist. He discovered the ABO blood grouping system in the year 1900. In this, he discovered what are the different type of blood occurs our body. Normally, A group, B group, AB group, and O group. He identified why this is important during a necessary for the any one of the blood grouping. That time also grouping also very important. He note the occultation is divided the blood types into 4 different groups. The discoverer of the ABO blood group, he awarded the Nobel Prize in this time also. A, B, AB and O. It mainly based on antigens and antibodies. What is antigen and antibodies? Why it is important for antigens and antibodies? That depends upon the antigen present in the blood grouping. The uptake, the normally blood group also intaking of the person in case deficiency of the blood depends upon the antigen antibodies of the red blood cells and the plasma. Taking of the blood also important. What are the antigens occurs in the A blood group? A blood group has the A antigen, B antibodies. B blood group person have the B antigen and A antibodies. Normally, O blood group person is called universal donor and AB blood group person is called universal recipient. Why we called universal donor and recipient? In taking of the blood grouping and given of the blood grouping, we have to divide it. This picture shows group A group, B group, AB group and O group of the blood grouping. Normally, red blood cells, everything also based on the red blood cells. You know very well about the red parties mean by red blood cells and white blood cells. White blood cells also mainly giving the lymphatic system and give the immunity power. Red blood cells only given the hemoglobin content and it also have the heme content and the globin content also. The red blood cell types also have the A group have the A antigen and B antibodies. The antibodies on this picture shows A antigen and B antibodies. B blood group have the B antigen and A antibodies. AB blood group also have the AB antigen, there is no antibodies. O blood group also have the no antigen, A antibodies and B antibodies. So, we have to differentiate the AB blood groups and O blood groups. The AB blood group have not any antibodies, so it is called universal recipient. The person have the blood group in taking of the blood from the other person. Next one, this is a blood group and antigens present in the RBC cell, antibodies present in the plasma. Another, how we have to transfusions occurs in the blood from one person to another person. This picture clearly explained. A blood group person have the A antigen, B antibody. The donor, the A group person is given the blood to A group person, another one is a O group person. B blood group persons given the blood for not A group, B group, another one is a O group because he have the B antigen, A antibodies. Another one, ABO blood group person given the blood for antigens present in the A and B, there is no antibody. So, the donor is a AB, A group, B group and O group. O group is a O positive group, not negative. Another O group person also have not a antigen. Antibodies only have, it is a antibodies and B antibodies. So, in the donor group, O group person is a universal donor for O. After the blood group transfusions, blood circulations, ABO blood grouping, everything also based on the necessities of the body in case any one of the person affecting the disease, that is necessary to intaking of the blood and the transfusion of the blood one person to another person. So, the ABO blood grouping also important. Another, it is related to the disease, that is a genetic disorder disease. We have to know about the X-linked inheritance disease. Why it is called X-linked inheritance? We have the so many chromosomes. X chromosome and X chromosome have the female, Y chromosome in the male. The disease only transmitted through the X chromosome. So, the inherited disease is called X-linked inheritance disease. Already we know about the blood grouping. So, the disease is related to the X-linked inheritance disease. We have to know about the hemophilia. That is one of the important and genetic disorder disease. Hemophilia is otherwise called bleeder disorder. That slows the blood clotting process. Normally, any one of the person is affecting any one of the wound, the blood clotting occurs easily. In case the person affecting hemophilia, the blood clotting process is later. The people with this condition, the experience is prolonged, the bleeding, the oozing following the injuries. That is otherwise called delayed blood clotting. Normally, the hemophilia is a inherited disease. Inherited means it transmits from the one generation to next generation, father to offspring, mother to ascendant or descendant. The hemophilia is an inherited bleeding disorder where the blood does not clot properly due to the deficiency or dysfunction or specific clotting factor is absent in the blood grouping. Normally, any one of the person is have the injuries, the person's blood clotting occurs in the 8 minutes. In case the person is affecting the hemophilic condition, the hemophilic patient, the blood clotting, it will take 20 to 24 minutes. Why it is important? Why we have to concentrate this one? In case the person is bleeding ooze out in the 20 to 24 minutes, most of the blood also released. The person is goes to any one of the unconscious conditions. So, the hemophilic disease is a very dangerous disease. The disease also otherwise called mutant Kuhn-Victoria family. Another one is a royal disease. Why it is called royal disease? Mutant Victoria family. This hemophilia disease first identified by the Kuhn-Victoria family in England. That is so the disease is called the royal disease. The family person also have this type of disease. The bleeding is occurs in the latter. So, this disease is otherwise called royal disease. This picture clearly indicates normal father and hemophilic mother affecting the disease. When the father has a hemophilia and the mother also unaffected, the father, already I told you, the genes only transmitted through from the X chromosomes only. The color blindness genes occurs in the father. The hemophilia disease otherwise called criss-cross inheritance disease. Why it is called criss-cross inheritance disease? It transmits from the father to daughter, daughter to grandson. Daughter is a carrier, does not affecting any one of the disease, but grandson is affecting the disease. So, the disease is called criss-cross inheritance disease. Another picture also explaining when the mother carries, the gene is alternation and causing the hemophilia and the father is unaffected. The father and the mother also unaffected, for mother only the carrier. The disease also transmitted from the one generation to next generation, the grandsons also affected. Who discovered this disease? Hemophilia disease, already explaining. Another one of the disease is a color blindness. The disease also X-linked inheritance disease. It occurs in the human being. This color blindness disease discovered by the one of the scientists Wilson in 1911. It is also hereditary disease. This hereditary disease otherwise called red blindness. Another one is a green blindness. The red blindness person is otherwise called protonophia. In case the person is occurs in the green blindness, the person is called deuteronophia. These genes also recessive gene. It is not a dominant gene. It is indicating small c, small c. This color blindness disease also otherwise called cross inheritance disease, and it is transmitted from the father to grandson through daughter. It does not from the directly. The color blindness is primarily the genetic disorder. It is caused by the inherited gene. It is also called mutation. Why it is called mutation? Sudden changes occurs in the any one of the part. It is called mutation. The disease also mutant genes mutated to occurs in the gene genetic. The X chromosome also mutated. It occurs in the body. It leading to the red-green colors. In the vision is also a deficiency. This deficiency occurs in the eye in retina. The retina also affected. Normally it is called male inheritance disease. Normally man inherited the X chromosome from the mother and Y chromosome from the father. If the mother carries the gene for color blindness, she can pass it her son who will have the conditions. This is called the normally father also affected. It is directly affected the sons. The mother also affected. It is goes to the carriers. The female inheritance disease, the women have two X chromosomes. So they must inherit the faculty of the genes. If the mother and the father also color blindness. Why? Because normally mother also have the X chromosome, female also have the XY chromosome. It is dominant in the X chromosome, the person is affected automatically. If they inherited the gene from only one parent, they become a carrier but do not have the condition themselves. The carrier means carrying the inheritance genes, example color blindness, it expressed in the next generation, that is called carrier. It occurs in the genes color blindness, but it does not express in the F1 generation. In F2 generation, it also expressed. Normally, father is a color blindness. The X chromosome, why they have to round it? The color blindness transmitted from the X chromosome only, and also mother have the color blindness. First generation normal son, color blindness, and there is no color blindness. And also the daughter also has the two daughter. The person also has the two daughter. The daughter affected the color blindness. Why? Because the X chromosome, one X chromosome have the color blindness, not carrier. So the daughter also affected the F1 generation. All the daughters also 100% chance to the color blindness. That is a carriers. Next. It is also expecting normal unaffected the female carriers, the unaffected male. Both of the parents is female and male. First genotype parent gene also normally capital N also indicating normal person, small n indicating the affected person. The gamete also genotype occurs. A normal F1 generation is unaffected female occur, but that person is not a carrier. Unaffected person in the female also carrier. Why? Because the female also have the 2X gene, so that a person is a carrier. Another unaffected males, that is no carrier, and color blindness of the male, that is a carrier. The offspring also generation. The second generation also affected because first generation female also have the carrier. It does not express in the F1 generation. F2 generation it will express. The parent XX chromosome, normal XY chromosome. The gamete also form the one X chromosome. Another normal all the X chromosome. In second generation, carrier female, normal male. Why it is normal male? Normal X chromosome and Y chromosome. And another one is here, one of the person also color blind male, because the X chromosome is the affected person. Another one is a normal female. That X chromosome is a normal, so normal female. It is a X-linked inheritance disease is over. Another one is a bar body. A bar body. A bar body is one of the condensed inactivated X chromosome. It is found in the somatic cells and the mammalian female cell. Why it is important for bodies? Already I told you, we have the X chromosomes, another one is a Y chromosome, XX chromosome in female, XY chromosome in the male. The inactivated X chromosome, darkly stained inactivated X chromosome, it is called bar body. The bar body occurs in the nucleus. A bar body contains inactivated X chromosome found in the somatic cells of mammalian female. It's very important. But normally sex cells also called X cells and Y cells. But bar body is also from the body chromosome, that is called somatic cells, as well as individual with multiple of X chromosome. It is named after the discoverer Murray Bar. So that is called bar body. It formed during the X inactivations. This bar body is a process where one of the two X chromosome in a female cell is silenced to equalize the gene and expressed in between the male and the female. It is very important process. The one X chromosome in a female cell, it is silenced means it also deactivated and the gene also equalized after expressed between the male and the female. After that, the number of bar bodies always 1 is less than total number of X chromosome in the cells. The bar body, the picture shows a very nice picture. The outer blue color also nucleus. The bar body also occurs in the extra X chromosome, darkly stained extra X chromosome part attached in the outer membrane, that is a bar body in the nucleus. Normal positive bar body indicates the female sex. In the person is identifying there is a male or female, it will uses of the X chromosome. So it is one of the identification of the female and the sex. The bar body also very important. Another one of the conditions, it is called eye color in Drosophila. Before slide, we have to know about all the animals and human being affected the disease, mainly human being. These pictures, this disease affected in the one of the insect, that is called Drosophila. What are the variation occurs in the Drosophila, and the eye color also varied in the Drosophila. The Drosophila eye color is a classic example of sex-linked inheritance disease, which is primarily the red pigment being dominant and white alleles being recessive. The both of them carried in the X chromosome. All the identification we have to know about the two factors also important. One is a pigment, another one is a character. The pigment also red pigment, another one is a white-eyed male, another one is a red-eyed male. Another one is a dominant character, another recessive character. This is a allele. Allele means it is a controlling the character of the genes, that is called allele. The gene's location on the X chromosome leads to distinctive inheritance pattern such as white-eyed male and red-eyed female. It is producing the red-eyed daughter and white-eyed sons in the F1 generations. How it is occurs in the body, that is normal dominant characters, another one is a recessive characters. The normal red eye color alleles is the dominant over the recessive white eye allele. How it possible? The crossing between the two genes, red eye color and dominant over the recessive of the white eye color. It expressing the F1 generation. The sex-linked trait also occur. The gene for eye color is located on the X chromosome, not in the Y chromosome. The X chromosome is a dominant. The disease only, eye color is only transmitted from the X chromosomes only, not Y chromosome. So this Drosophila eye color variation also transmitted from the X chromosome. The inheritance pattern also varied. The cross between the red-eyed male and white-eyed female will produce a red-eyed daughter and all white-eyed sons in the F1 generation. In F1 generations, Drosophila color also varied. At the same time, the male and the female conditions also vary. That is a very boon. A cross between red-eyed male and white-eyed female will produce all red-eyed daughters. Red-eyed daughters, at the same time all white-eyed sons in the F1 generation. The recessive characters, The YY allele from the father is passed to the F1 female and F2 male. The pattern is known as criss-cross inheritance. Already I told you it is transmitted from the father to grandson, not mother. So it is very important. Normal this picture explaining red-eyed female, white-eyed male. The parent also varied, male and female. Red-eyed female and red-eyed male, F1 generation. It is formed as both male and female, the genes also occur. In F2 generation, red-eyed female, red-eyed female, red-eyed male and white-eyed male. The ratio also varied. The formation of the Drosophila and eye color also varied. These following all the disease is transmitted from the X-linked inheritance disease. We have to know about the linked inheritance means genetic disorder, genetic mutations occurs in the body. It also has some remedial, some of the disease have not yet any one of the treatments. So it is we have to identify the early and give the some of the small treatment to identifying the disease. It is also all the disease also called X-linked inheritance disease. Thank you.